to Coppin State for a litlittle while. So
Yeah, I
can
did.
you talk a little bit about your HBCU experience and how that, inspired your career? Because I
It
believe
was
you started music there, right?
Yeah, it was great, man. Ironically, I was just at Coppin State College yesterday, man. I hadn't been there in like umpteen years, and
Wow.
um, a lot of the staff and came out and showed a lot of love and running up and taking pictures and just like cool thing. I was actually grabbing some gear. I'm actually performing for the HBCU Honors
Yeah.
Awards this year for 2025. I was a presenter and a host last year. So this year as I was about to start what hadn't been announced at the time was my new job, my secondary job, being a new voice and radio personality of the original Quiet Storm on 96.3 WHUR,
Right.
which is done live from the prestigious campus, the Mecca, Howard University,
Yes.
one of the original HBCUs. And yeah, so I was there hanging out. Like I said, I'm performing, um, for the honors awards this year on Thursday, and that will air, to be announced soon to be announced, and
Right.
yeah. But my experience was great, man. My experience is what I think every experience should be. I went to go find myself.
Right.
Like I went to go find. I didn't, at the time I thought, going before I hit touchdown on campus, I thought that I would be a criminal justice major,
Hmm.
and doing track. I got redshirted. Um, I had a track and field distance running relationship,
Right.
excuse me, scholarship, and was redshirted for the first year, and I lost my desire to do that. I actually fell in love with, I fell in love with singing, and didn't look back, man. I left after 3 4 semesters,
Right.
and and been doing what I've been doing ever since, but they always support and claim me, and all the things. There's been some talks as of late about a possible honorary doctorate, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but yeah, man, like it's blackness and create the creative minds of the future,
Yeah.
and all the things that connect on those campuses, man. Yeah,
Most definitely. That's the power of HBCU. So, about a month ago, we lost D'Angelo,
yeah.
a neo soul legend, one of the greatest. And then a few months before that, we lost Angie Stone. So,
hmm
as like fans, they view them as their favorite artists, but you being in the industry, I know you view them as family. So, how have
Yeah.
you been holding up? Like, how are you?
Yeah, I think that they both rock this. I think with the D'Angelo, um, the loss of D'Angelo really rocked us because um his privacy was respected until his transitioning. You know what I
Mm,
mean? So it kind of hit, and it felt like, out of blue. It felt like we were hit out of blue
yes.
with it. You know what I mean? We were hit out of the blue. And you know, so you think about the ways you would have wanted to give them their roses, or the fact that I too am one of those artists who never had an opportunity to physically meet him,
Right.
and I never had an opportunity to see a live show.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Either because of my schedule being what it is, or when he did drop, I couldn't afford the ticket, or whatever the case may be, right?
Right.
Um, but yeah, so that hit hard. Angie hit tremendously hard because that was somebody who I knew.
Mm.
It hit just as hard, if not more, because I knew her. She would call and check on me. Like I had spoken to her not too long before that. I had just filled in for her for a show
Wow.
in Chicago when she had taken ill, and um, they called me and said, "Hey, we want you to come." Literally, the show was on a Friday. They called me on a Thursday and said, "We need you to come out here and do this show." It was a sold out show with Fantasia, and I called her and said, "Hey, do you want me to go to make sure?" I called to check on her because they said she was
Mm.
in the hospital. That was
Right.
the first thing, and then I said, with your blessing, I'll go out here and do this. And what do you want me to tell the people? You know
Mm.
what I mean? So, again, I'm gonna miss like getting those uh those pop-up calls, or just like her just checking on me, and
Right.
us running plays on how we can support each other, and her just telling me how proud she was of me. And the first time she heard "Guess Who Loves You More," it's just like, man, like, since I've been on the air for the last 12 months and some change now. I just celebrated my 1 year anniversary of being,
Congratulations.
taking over the Quiet Storm in DC. um I've had to announce the deaths of Roy Ayers,
Mm,
Quincy Jones, you know, celebrate the lives of Angie Stone, D'Angelo, you
mm,
know, um, Dwayne Wiggins,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, just to name a few, right? It's been a lot. So,
Yeah.
um, but it puts it in perspective as an artist, that, and then what I know, more importantly, as a human being, we're not, this journey that we're here is a very small amount of time. Like, time is just a social construct. It's a concept constructed.
Right.
It's I don't feel like time really exists. You know
Mm,
what I mean? To me it's like one big movie. You know what I mean?
right.
And so we use it wisely. From the time we're born, we're running out of it. So, you know, um, I think when think about all the names that I mentioned, the first thing that comes to mind is thank you for a job well served. Thank you for giving us all that you had to give
Mm,
in this music, in this art form. And I couldn't imagine a world without their art, you
most
know.
definitely. Most definitely. So, R&B, neo soul, they kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion. So recently, Mario went on a podcast. Podcasting is, everybody has a podcast now, and he pretty much named the people he believes that, cannot sing. I believe
Hmm.
you're a good singer, and things like that. But do you think things that he said is bringing the industry kind of back, dividing it a little bit by calling out these so-called non-singers?
Yeah, I don't think it's dividing it. I think that, it's he spoke his truth. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Through his lens and through his scope. And I don't feel like he should be judged for that. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that got a problem with it, go do a sing off with him. Go book a show. Go have a concert. Put it together.
Right.
And like, Mario be cooking, man. I would probably say he's his generation's like Joe
Mm,
to
okay.
me. You know what I mean? If
Okay.
I had to do a comparison of, like, in terms of skill set, and
Right.
that's a compliment. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Um, and it not only sounds incredible on tape, on a record. You know what I mean? But also live.
right.
Um, and then, I'm just going. I'm That's the home team. It's Baltimore, so I'm gonna roll with the home team.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, I'm not so hard on the artist, that he may have mentioned. It's one of those things where, you know, as an artist, you have to learn to meet yourself where you're at,
Right.
you know. And as long as you're willing to grow and you put that work in,
Yeah.
um, you know, I- you that can happen. You can grow,
Right.
you can evolve, uh, but it took me a long time to figure out who I feel like I was artistically. You know what I mean? And I feel like no artist is truly defined until they get into their fourth, fifth, sixth, or seventh. When you're making records at that point and put out projects and bodies of work, I'm 20 years in. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like, um, I can truly say I'm a master of my craft in certain areas, and there's still other areas where I'm still developing, and I feel like overall I haven't even scratched the surface of what I can do.
Most
You know what I
definitely.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
And I feel like that for every artist out there. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Whether it be Mario or any of the artists that he mentioned, there's always room for improvement, growth,
Right.
maturity. Um, but but lead with humility. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Lead with being humble. Um, um, because so you might get an opportunity just because people like you're just a good person, and
Right.
like you might not be the best vocalist or runner or the skill set, but um, what I realize as it relates to being an artist and no matter what line of work you in, good, bad, or indifferent, people remember how you made them feel.
Most definitely.
So I try to focus on me personally as an artist. Like I want to make people feel good. I want to connect with them when they play that, when they press play, and I want to make them feel good when they cop a ticket to come see it live.
Right, most definitely. I think it's great to have healthy competition. And
Yeah,
Versus is going around. And I was thinking like a versus, like Raheem Devaughn
yeah.
versus Maxwell, something like that.
That'd be dope.
You
I
would
would
do?
love. Oh, absolutely, I'd do it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? You know what I mean? Um, good, bad, or indifferent, best man, men, what have you. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I have a. If you want to talk about catalog,
Hmm.
um, and skill set and performing, like I feel like I'm one of the best at what I do. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like um unfortunately, um successes is just based on just that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's about it's about a lot of other things. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not just about the skill set. A lot of times it's just it's about the numbers of what you sold and what you
Mhm.
streamed and
Yeah.
and 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 but now and you're pulling the layers back on that, even like you don't know what's
Real
real
and
and what.
fake.
Yeah,
What's
yeah, yeah,
people
yeah, yeah. You gotta
buying?
you
Like,
gotta you gotta we're in
pe-
an era you're in an era where you gotta fact check everything. So the
right.
greatest fact check for me is like jump on that live when I'm in the studio and you see how I move and see how I get
Yeah.
down and see the blood, sweat, and tears that I put in this and pull up on me at a show. And you understand that it's authentic. It's no enhancements of the auto tunes or this and the third. You're gonna get what you see is what you get, and what you're gonna get is me giving my all 200%.
Most definitely. Most definitely. So you're going on tour. You have new music.
Yeah.
What's next for Raheem Devon? And I so you're 50 years old.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah, yeah. I'm
let's
gonna have
talk
a yeah,
about it.
yeah. I'm gonna have a century. But I
You
look like James Brown say. I look good. I smell good. I feel good. I sound good. You know what I mean? And
that's what I was like,
yeah,
I was doing some research. I was like, this man is not 50 years old. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
what's
yeah.
next for you?
Man, I think whatever I can manifest. You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
understanding that the importance of manifestation, the importance of prayer, the importance of health, which is the greatest wealth. Um, and just being humble. You know what I mean? Like um. I jokingly tell people as of late, like I'm living out my childhood fantasies, like
Mhm.
things that are my childhood dreams, right? I grew up listening to Melvin Lindsay on the Quiet Storm almost 50 years ago. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And so now to be, you know, the voice and the guy that is the voice and the face of the original Quiet Storm in my city where I grew up,
Right.
to have the number one nighttime music show in the city, number one show at the station.
Mhm.
Um, uh you
You got
know
me wanting to
what
pull out my little radio mic real quick.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
know,
what, yeah, you already know, right?
you know.
Whether and as somebody that does radio and media, then you know what it means.
Yes.
Like it's not for the money. It's you
Yeah.
when you do radio, you're connecting with community in a
Yeah.
whole nother way. So some of the things sometimes people like pull up on me, and or like
I
at
love
the
when they
gas
call
station,
in, like,
or stop me in the middle of the street and pray over me and
right.
tell me that this is something that I was ordained or chosen to do.
Hmm.
It lets me know it's bigger than me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Nobody, when it comes to God, blessings, manifestation, nobody's bigger than the program.
Amen
You
to
know,
that. Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying? So it's I'm at, to sum it up, I'm thankful. It's gratitude.
Yeah.
I'm chasing 20 years,
Mhm.
30 years of that, hopefully. Man, as long as I can. I was just with Lenny Green in New York. He's been doing a Quiet Storm since 1997.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? He's two,
Yeah.
3 years shy of 30 years in the game. Keep Sweat. who my OG, who's been doing radio for 17 years. Like, so, I'm still a whippersnapper in it. So I'm learning. I'm doing the business. I'm doing the numbers. I'm doing all the things. Um, but I like to think that I'm doing it humbly
Yes.
and with gratitude. What's next for me? More radio. At some
Radio.
point I want to be syndicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to, and just continue to grow and expand the brand. I would like to do now doing in media. I got to introduce some television stuff, whether
Mhm.
that's with, Fox 5 here locally in my city or some type of segment.
Right.
Um, and I can see myself doing some reality stuff. It's gotta make sense. It
No,
can't be
that's
I can't be out here cooning and tap dancing, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
it's gotta make sense. It's gotta be something that's heartfelt, that connects with community. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to see myself doing something in that space. Branding opportunities and partnerships,
Mm.
similar to the one that I had with Gilead,
Right. Yes.
and Gilead Sciences to be exact, you know, um, which deals with, HIV awareness
Yeah.
and
I love how you
convers
talk about that in
yeah,
almost
yeah,
every
yeah.
interview, everything you always bring that up. So
Yeah,
thank you
conversation,
for honoring.
but the conversations are important.
Yeah.
I had played different stage in my life, younger, and you know, d- maybe I felt insecure, as taboo to talk about certain things. But
Right.
at the end of the day, man, we're if I can, if I have a part of my brand is like creating life.
Mm.
I create life through music,
Yeah.
right? People conceive children, right? So I can also save lives through the
Mm.
art as well. So when I pull up on, any city, anywhere we go, on the God's green earth where we touch down, 10 toes down, people know with me, it's a party with a purpose. You know what I
Most
mean? Like, I don't just go, I'm not one of the artists just coming to the city and 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 um and just take and leave nothing behind. You know what I mean? So, I understand that good, bad, and different people remember how you made them feel, and
right.
I want to make people feel something. And so those partnerships are important,
Yeah.
because it's saving lives. I'm dropping an EP, or a full length project. I just like to call them projects.
Okay.
In the first quarter, it'll be called my next project will be called the Quiet Storm Lover.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and on brand with um with the new Job, and
Right.
a lot of music, man. Shout out to Granique. I just put out a project in the last 6 months. Raheem Devaughn presents Granique, When
Mm.
Butterflies Become Unicorns.
Mm.
Um I'm on the new Vincent Rubin Ninth Wonder project.
Oh
You know what I
wow.
mean? So yeah, so check that out for all the hip hop music lovers out there. Um Finishing up some stuff that's coming out with a label called BBE,
Mhm.
with the legendary Kenny Dope. I have a Marvin Gaye remake album that's coming out.
Oh
You know what I
wow.
mean? Lot of cool
You're
things.
booked and busy.
Yeah, and most importantly, like just booked and busy and just working. Like,
Right.
I'm a workaholic, man. I lost my dad 3 years ago, so ever
Mhm.
since I lost my dad, I'd be lying if I say that I ain't been right since. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So, um, one of the things that gives me, you know,
Peace.
hope,
Joy.
hope and peace
Mhm.
are are is the music and performing. You know what I'm saying? And as somebody who advocates for mental health and to and encourages others to get therapy, and I've had therapy myself, and um going to be going back for another round soon of
Yeah.
therapy. Um, I think other than that, thing that brings me peace is like, performing and being in the studio, and I just get lost in that space. You know what I mean? And then the real things that really matter, like my kids and family and things like that. So um, yeah, I'm low maintenance, man, when it comes to like what I need to be happy.
Most definitely, most definitely. Well, you heard it here first. Raheem Devaughn in the building. Thank you for coming by. And
Yeah.
this felt like I was talking to my uncle and my brother. So
Oh
thank you
man,
for
that's what's up.
for coming up here. I'm gonna